Friday morning, I woke to the sound of chainsaws screaming outside my window. I looked out and saw my entire livelihood being destroyed. 2,000 mature, Fraser Firs, worth $23,000. My twin daughters' entire college fund being harvested and sold by thieves in broad daylight. Fresh stumps bled sap into the frost. Commercial trucks scarred my land. The diesel stench poisoned the December air. And zip-tied to my gate was a smug note from HOA President Magnolia Patterson, claiming legal seizure of abandoned commercial inventory under some fake agricultural lien authority. This entitled woman wasn't just pruning branches. She was selling my family's Christmas trees to waiting buyers and pocketing every single penny. But Magnolia made one fatal mistake. My hidden 4K cameras captured everything. The theft, the buyers, the money exchange, and her fake legal documents. My 40-acre farm sits exactly 200 feet outside her jurisdiction. What she did wasn't HOA enforcement, it was grand theft. She thought she was stealing from a helpless widower. She didn't know she was stealing from a disabled Army veteran. And by the time the sun went down, Magnolia didn't just lose her job. She lost everything. What would you do if you woke up and found your neighbor selling your property like they owned it? Drop your state in the comments below. I want to see where my justice-seeking family is watching from today. And stick around, because the trap I set for Magnolia involved the FBI, a news crew, and the most satisfying arrest you will ever see. If you believe thieves deserve exactly what they get, smash that subscribe button. Let's rewind to how this nightmare started. I'm Rex Thornfield, 52, disabled Army vet with a busted back from an IED in Afghanistan. 18 months ago, my world ended when I lost my wife, Sarah, to cancer. The medical bills crushed us, but Sarah left us one final gift, her life insurance policy. I used every penny of it, $85,000, to buy a 40-acre Christmas tree farm. It was supposed to be a fresh start for my twin daughters, Emma and Grace, walking through those rows of pine, breathing that mountain air. For the first time in forever, I felt hope. The farm sat 200 feet outside the Willowbrook Hills HOA. I checked the deed myself. Completely legal.
Completely mine.
Then I met the Christmas tree queen, Magnolia Patterson, rolled up to my gate in a white Range Rover, like she was royalty inspecting the peasants. Picture your worst HOA nightmare: perfect blonde hair, tennis outfit worth more than my truck, and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She offered me a partnership, 60-40 split. She sells, I cut. I politely declined. I told her I plan to sell direct to families. Keep it honest. That's when the mask slipped. You have no idea how things work here, she snapped. I have contracts to fulfill. Don't make this difficult. I didn't know it then, but Magnolia wasn't just a neighbor. She was running a massive Ponzi scheme involving Christmas trees. She had pre-sold 400 trees to wealthy families for $180 each. She had collected $90,000 in deposits. The problem? She didn't have the trees. Her suppliers had bailed. She needed inventory to avoid fraud charges, and my farm was the only target left. I thought she would just leave a bad review on Yelp. I was wrong. Magnolia wasn't planning to compete with me. She was building a legal framework to steal my entire farm. It started with a letter. Outstanding debt notification, $25,000, owed for agricultural equipment. It looked official. Logos legal jargon threatened seizure. Most people would panic. But in the Army, you learn to verify intel. I spent 3 hours in the courthouse basement. The previous owner had zero debt. The letter was a forgery. But Magnolia was busy. She filed complaints with code enforcement claiming my farm was abandoned. She took photos of my empty driveway when I took my daughters to visit their aunt. Then, my daughter Emma made a terrifying discovery. She was at a coffee shop and heard Magnolia on the phone. Yes, I guarantee. Delivery of 200 Fraser Firs. We acquired the inventory through a legal seizure. Emma texted me, Dad, the HOA lady is showing people papers that say she owns our trees. I checked online. Magnolia had created a fake Facebook group called Patterson Farms. She was posting updates telling 400 families that my trees were her inventory, just waiting for harvest. She had built a complete lie, and she had taken $90,000 in deposits. If she didn't deliver those trees by Christmas Eve, she was going to prison. So she decided to send me to the poorhouse instead. I was ready to fight her in court. But then my chainsaw disappeared from my locked barn. Then my suppliers canceled my orders. This wasn't a legal battle anymore. It was war. Magnolia called my netting supplier pretending to be my business partner and canceled my account. She called the equipment rental and told them I was bankrupt. She started spreading rumors that my trees were diseased. I was sleeping in the barn with a baseball bat. Then came the breaking point. I caught her. I was checking the back lot when I saw her Range Rover parked on my property line. She was out with a professional camera and a measuring tape, cataloging my trees. She didn't run. She waved, like she already owned them. That night, I called a buddy, Tommy. He told me, "Rex, you need professional eyes." I hired a private investigator named Jake. The report he brought back made my blood freeze. Magnolia wasn't a first-timer. She was a serial predator. Over 4 years, she had destroyed 43 family farms across 3 states. Same pattern. Fake debt claims, forged liens, seizure of crops. She had stolen $800,000 worth of produce. One of her victims, a veteran in Georgia, had taken his own life after losing his farm. That's when I realized I wasn't fighting for trees. I was fighting for justice. Jake brought in a tech team. We installed 12 hidden 4K cameras with night vision and audio pickup. We hid them in birdhouses, hollow logs, and fence posts. We were ready. But we didn't know exactly when she would strike, until Emma intercepted a message. Thursday night, Emma found a post in Magnolia's private customer group. Emergency harvest operation confirmed for Friday night. Delivery guaranteed. Saturday morning. She was going to hit us Friday. I called Detective Walsh. She had been building a case against Magnolia for months but needed one thing: video evidence of active theft. "Rex," she said, "we need to let her cut the trees. If we stop her early, it's trespassing. If she cuts them, loads them, and exchanges cash, it's federal racketeering." Friday morning, the pressure ramped up. Magnolia sent her husband, Bruce, with a emergency removal order, claiming my trees were a fire hazard. I kicked him off the property. Then at 9 p.m., the sun went down. I sent my daughters to their aunt's house. I sat in my darkened trailer, watching the camera feeds on my iPad. At 9:15 p.m., 3 black trucks rolled up the back logging road. They were running silent, lights off. 6 men in tactical black gear jumped out. Night vision goggles, professional chainsaws, and there she was, Magnolia Patterson, holding a thick envelope of cash. "Holy Detective Walsh whispered in my earpiece. "This isn't a theft. This is a military operation." At 9:30, a wholesale truck arrived. The buyer handed Magnolia cash. Then, the first chainsaw roared to life. I watched them cut down the trees I planted for my daughters. It felt like a knife in my gut. But I waited. 1 tree, 10 trees, 50 trees. At 9:47 p.m., the transaction was complete. The money was in her hand. The trees were loaded. Detective Walsh's voice crackled in my ear. "All units, green light. Take them down." Magnolia thought she was driving away with $50,000. Instead, she drove straight into a federal sting operation. The woods exploded with light. 8 tactical officers swarmed the clearing. Federal agents. "Drop the weapons! Get on the ground!" Bruce's crew scattered like roaches, but the perimeter was sealed. Magnolia dropped the cash. Her face went from smug to pure terror. "This is a mistake," she screamed. "I have paperwork." "These are abandoned." Detective Walsh walked up to her, holding the handcuffs. "You mean these forged documents?" Walsh asked. "We've been watching you for 8 months, Magnolia." And then the best part. The local news crew, the one Magnolia had tried to use against me, pulled up. They filmed her being shoved into a patrol car, still in her tennis outfit, screaming that I was just a stupid veteran. I walked up to the camera. "Sometimes," I said, live on air, "the little guy wins when he has the truth on his side." They seized everything. The trucks, the cash, her Range Rover. Magnolia was charged with 43 counts of agricultural fraud, grand theft, and racketeering. Christmas Eve was the best day of my life. Not only did I get my trees back, but the court seized Magnolia's assets to pay back her victims. I got a check for $74,000. Magnolia was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. But the real victory was Christmas morning. Families who heard the story didn't go to the big box stores. They came to me. The line of cars stretched for half a mile. My daughter's college fund? Fully secured. We even started a scholarship fund for other farmers fighting fraud. Magnolia wanted to ruin a disabled veteran. Instead, she made me the most famous farmer in Virginia. Grandpa used to say, "Don't let the bastards take what's yours." We didn't just keep the farm. We kept our dignity. So, tell me, have you ever dealt with a neighbor who thought they were above the law? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see how I stopped a developer from bulldozing my shop, click that video on the screen right now. I'm Rex Thornfield. Merry Christmas